What's happening, everybody? Welcome into the Wilbur and Gold Show. I'm your host, Will Dalton, aka Wilbur and Gold. Welcome in on a Wednesday. It's about noon, even though my watch doesn't work. That's for purely style purposes, not because it actually tells the freaking time. That's what I got a phone for. But hope you're doing well on a Wednesday, first show of the week. Let's see. We got a lot to get into today. I'm going to start actually by taking a sip of water, first of all, because I haven't drank enough water today. Now we're ready. So, this is the beauty of this show, is that 1 minute we might be talking, well, not might, 1 minute we'll be talking about Dak Prescott's new deal he just signed with the Cowboys, the Lakers. And then the next minute, we're going to be talking about FX collectible lightsabers. So I found this the other day, and if you can't see, I don't know why you wouldn't. So this is Anakin Skywalker's Revenge of the Sith lightsaber. Hang on a second. Pull up my screen over here so I can make sure. Here we go. Okay, so this is the 2005 Master Replica Anakin Skywalker Force FX lightsaber. It was made in 2005. I think I already said that. It's from Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3, and it is gorgeous. I still need to... I cleaned it up. So I found this, actually. So I found this at a used book, game, movie, comic book store. So kind of a nerdy type of store that like stuff like that. I went the other day with my buddy, and I was having a really good day, by the way. You know, because we go out, a couple times a week. We go to Goodwills, and this is content you're going to see come to the channel more often too, is we go to Goodwills. We haven't started going to yard sales yet, but since it's starting to warm up, and we're hopefully on the back end of COVID here, we're going to start going to yard sales, or at least I am. Flea markets we've done in the past, haven't done that lately. Mostly Goodwills and, just other type of places, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, we sell there. And one of our spots, we go to pawn shops. One of our spots is this used book, game, comic book store. You can buy stuff there to flip, if you find a good deal, or, a lot of times I buy stuff like for collectible reasons, because that's a good place to go. It's called McKay's. If you live in, there's one in Greensboro, North Carolina, where I live. And then there's one in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is like 20, 25 minutes away from where I am. So if you're around that area and you're into like nerdy comic book type of shit, definitely check that out. So, but no, we went in and I was having a good day. Like I found a lot of good stuff. Like I found a $200 espresso machine for $15. Found several other things, a graphing calculator for like $4 that I'm going to flip for like $25. Things like that. So good day. And so I told my buddy as we were going in there, I'm like, I got a funny feeling that they might have a lightsaber. Because they have had them before. So this is the one that I really wanted the most. So fun fact, and if you've seen previous episodes from a while back, you know this. I used to have a pretty big handful. I had about 6. That's the most I've had up at one time of these collectible, high-end Force FX prop replica lightsabers from Star Wars. I have since sold them all, as I was getting into flipping things and, just kind of needed a little bit of money to kind of get myself started into the flipping stuff, start investing more money, make more, invest more, make more. That cycle, in order to kind of get started on that, like I wanted to, about a year and a half ago now, I really started kind of selling off a lot of my lightsabers. It was hard because they were my prized possessions, or some of my most prized possessions, probably my most prized possessions. I had Luke Skywalker from A New Hope. I had Darth Vader original trilogy. I had Kylo Ren from the sequel trilogy. Not the deluxe one, just the regular one that the blade didn't come out of. I had Luke Skywalker, Return of the Jedi. I had Mace Windu's from the prequels. I think I'm missing one more. Let's see. Yeah, Luke, Kylo Ren, Vader, Mace Windu. Maybe that was it. I feel like there was one more. I don't know. I did have Yoda's, which is actually more rare than, ironically, this one. Not by a lot, but I don't want to say it's more rare. I guess it is because of the price. It's a little more pricey than this one. Actually, they're about the same. So what am I talking about? So I found Yoda's Master Replica Saber, which was from it was either 05, 06, or 07. I can't remember which one, but it was from Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Yoda's saber. I actually found that saber about a year ago from McKay's, and I bought it for $125, flipped it for $250 in a couple of days. So that's kind of when I really started to realize, all right, I can make a nice chunk of change on these things. And so I started to kind of sell off some of mine, because this is the way I looked at it, which is where I was going with this little rant. The way I looked at it was, so I plan to have a very legit, all my sons or daughters' friends at school comes over and just admires it type of man cave when I, get a little older and, have my own house and I'm a little more established and where I'm going to be living. I plan to have a very legit man cave. It's I've already started the process of kind of figuring out what it's going to kind of look like and what type of stuff it's going to have in it. Some blueprints, if you will. And it is going to be a very whoa, you ain't seen nothing like this. This is it's going to be legit, and it's going to have a lot of Star Wars stuff in it. And my game plan is to have, along with a lot of other helmets and rare collectibles from Star Wars and Game of Thrones. Haven't really started my Game of Thrones collections yet. I want to have an entire wall of these things. And so far, now this is the only one I have. I will not be selling this one because I've already kind of gone through my whole, sell all my sabers and make a little money phase. I still might buy, and for example, this wasn't actually the only saber that I found, by the way. So I found this one for $75, long story short. It runs $250, $300-ish on eBay. So I could make a nice profit on it, but I'm not going to, because this is my favorite character, Anakin Skywalker, from my favorite movie, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. His lightsaber. It's the one. It's a little scratched in certain spots, but not that much to where I care that much. I still need to clean it a little more. It was really kind of gunky on the grip part. But yeah. So actually, forgot to change my banner out here. There we go. The Wilbur and Gold Show. Welcome. So yeah, this is saber number 1 of me rebooting my collection and making my wall of lightsabers, if you will. So I found that one. And I also found Darth Maul from Phantom Menace, episode 1. Found both sides of it, actually. You can see the other end right here. But found this. This one was also Master Replica from 2006. And usually together, this runs, both sabers connected, runs about $300 or so, especially if it has the box with it. This didn't. Now, this did not have the box. It didn't have the stand, and it didn't have the little connector. So for you, those of you who are Star Wars fans, you know this already. If you're not, you're just kind of casual or don't know this. So this is supposed to be like a double-bladed lightsaber. So that in there connects here, and there's like a little piece that connects it, and it's like a double-bladed saber. I don't have the middle piece. which was kind of a big reason for my decision on this. So I originally was going to keep this. I'm definitely keeping Anakin. That's Saber number 1 to rebooting my collection. I'm not. In fact, I've already flipped one half of this. I'm selling them separate because there's no connector. I've already flipped this one. This is why I had it out already. I flipped this one, bought both sides. So basically 2 Sabers individually, essentially. Bought them both for $75 a piece. Already flipped this one for $120. Gonna flip that one for $120 as well. So yeah, this one I'm gonna flip just because, again, like I'm still trying to make money here, but this one was the one I really wanted, and my birthday's next week, so I was like, all right, well, I kind of wanted to buy myself a Saber anyway, so let's just go ahead and get it. So yeah, I'm still gonna be buying and flipping them, but this was my first one that I wanted to kind of get my collection started with again. Just yeah. So let's see, what do I want to do next? Oh, so the long story short, just to finish my point, the reason I sold all of my lightsabers essentially was the way I looked at it. I would rather not have them right now to start building some profit here to eventually have much more down the road. So basically, I'm sacrificing having a nice collection now to have an unbelievable collection in the future, which is essentially what I was going for. So, you know, that the premise on that is sometimes you have to forego short-term pleasures to get the big ones, the big time long-term pleasures that you want down the road. Yeah, it's kind of how it works sometimes. So with most things actually that are meaningful. So yeah, Force FX lightsabers to start the show. So let me go into NBA. That's gonna be, again, that's the beauty of this particular show, is that there's a lot of different directions I like to go into. So from Force FX lightsaber collection to some NBA talk. So obviously the Nets picked up Blake Griffin, which is insane to me. I don't think it's him. Well, that's a nice pickup by the Nets, to say the least. I mean, when Blake Griffin hit the market, there was a lot of talk about, oh, he could go to the Nets potentially, and then there was a lot of talk that he could potentially reunite with the Clippers, which would have been a good pickup for them, considering, they lost Montrezl Harrell to the Lakers and others. He went to the Nets. I don't think it's going to be as big of an impact as people think, but I do think it's going to be a legit impact, just not as like, I think it's more just of a branding standpoint, or just kind of, a social media amplifies everything standpoint. Obviously, it's like, good God, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, KD, and now Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, and a deep bench. That's insane. But I think it depends on how motivated Blake Griffin is, which I would assume very, because he did not get the good end of leaving Lob City, or I don't remember how that went down, if he got traded or released, or I don't know, or if he just decided to opt out. But, he was a part of that Clippers team, him and DeAndre Jordan in his prime, Chris Paul in his prime, Lob City. I know it very well because my buddy Sebastian, we used to get in 2K wars all the time, and that was his go-to team there for a while. That was it's probably one of the best teams in history to never win a title, point blank. And, Blake Griffin was a part of the big three that was there. And so he did not do very well beyond that with Detroit. So he's probably very motivated to get his first ring. So that's going to be a big impact. But I don't think it's going to be as monstrosity of an impact that people think that it is. That was a horrible put together sentence, but you get what I'm saying here. But I will say this, I'm not willing to say they're just automatically the favorites to win the title, but I will say it's basically a foregone conclusion at this point that it's going to be a Nets-Lakers finals. Obviously AD got injured a little while ago. I think that was blown up a little bit more than it should have been, because I think you have to understand that the Lakers have LeBron, which means their eyes are on the prize, which means their eyes are on the NBA title trophy, which means they're going to take their time to get AD back. So naturally, all the media is going to be, oh, where's he? I can't wait to laugh at all of you who just thought, oh, Lakers are done, AD's out. I'm like, do you understand how far away, or at the time, how far away the playoffs are? Like, relax. He's going to take his time. Probably won't be back for the regular season. Maybe last little bit, maybe. But make no mistake about it. They're going to make sure that he's ready to go for the playoffs. So I can't wait to laugh at all of you who are like just freaking out. Oh, Lakers are done. They're done. Meanwhile, they've actually done pretty well in his absence. LeBron has played very well in his absence. Just don't even get me started. This is the LeBron episode of the show, episode 23, by the way. That's a fun fact. So yeah, my theory, it's not even a theory. It's more like a no shit. It's Nets Lakers this year in the finals, which is most likely what we're going to get. 95% chance. It is going to be the best, most dramatic, most anticipated, and most hype finals in a COVID. Obviously, COVID puts slight damper on that because it's not going to be as hyped as it normally would be pre-COVID. But given everything, it's going to be very hype. And considering it's our first finals outside of the NBA bubble that we just had last year, it's going to be the most hyped, best NBA final matchup since Cavs-Warriors 2016, when LeBron and the Cavs made that 3-1 comeback and ultimately beat the Warriors, and then the Warriors, went out and got KD, and that was that. It's going to be the best one since then. Because, I mean, when you think about it, obviously it wasn't as good last year because it was the bubble atmosphere and no fans, and, it wasn't as good. Let's just call it for what it is. We were grateful to have what it was. We were grateful that we got something, but it wasn't obviously the hype of a normal finals atmosphere. The one before that, Raptors-Warriors, KD ended up getting hurt, so it was most likely a foregone conclusion that Raptors were going to take it, and they did. And then the ones before that, the last two matchups of Cavs-Warriors, literally the only game that was compelling was that first game where LeBron dropped 51 points in his last year back in Cleveland. And then JR forgot what planet he was on, and that was that. And then the Cavs got swept, and he went on to LA. The one before that wasn't all that compelling again. It was slightly more than the one that came after it. But the last two where the Warriors had KD wasn't all that compelling because we kind of knew, all right, whatever. They might make it a little interesting, but we know what's going to happen. The last one that was like the drama of the finals that we're accustomed to seeing with LeBron and whoever his nemesis is in the league at the time. With the Heat, it was the Spurs. With the Cavs, it was the Warriors. And now it's the Nets in Brooklyn. Whoever it is, this Nets-Lakers finals matchup is going to be by far the best finals we have gotten since that 2016 Cavs-Warriors when LeBron 3-1 came back and beat the Warriors. So I'm excited about that. Let me move on to the Dak deal. Dak Prescott finally got his deal with the Cowboys, who, by the way, and that's one thing that's unique about me is like I'm able to be both sports content creator, objective, preferably, but also recognize I'm a fucking sports fan over here. Like I can do both. And I think I tend to think that's very refreshing nowadays. So I have to make sure I take my fandom goggles off and put my objective ones on. I hate the Cowboys with all my heart. I think they're stupid. Like I can't stand the Cowboys. I can't stand their fans. I can't stand Jerry. I just can't do it. I can't stand the way that, and by the way, let me just finish this. But I am rooting for Dak, by the way. I'm rooting for Dak. It's no different. I hate everything about Duke as a Carolina fan, but I can, in the same breath and sentence, say Coach K's the GOAT and Duke is the most, other than this year, the most consistent, good, great college basketball program of all time. Period. Just is what it is. But here we go again. And I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. So now, and again, I'm rooting for Dak. I hope he does well and the Cowboys just lose because of whatever the reason. But I hope Dak does well. But good Lord, it was so predictable. Here we go again. I've seen it. I can count on two hands over the last couple of days the amount of times. And keep in mind, I wasn't looking for it either. It was something I popped up on my phone or scrolled by on social media or wherever that I happened to see it. The amount of times that I'm already starting to see, well, now that Dak has his deal, is it Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys? Like, why do we keep doing it? Why do we keep doing this? I mean, it's both the fans and the media that do this. Then there's us objective people that actually watch what has happened over the last 25 years. We continue to put the Cowboys in the Super Bowl conversation every stinking year. And yet, every year, for the most part, they don't even make the playoffs. But yeah, we keep putting them in the Super Bowl conversation every year. It's like they have a disappointing season. They're full of drama. They're in the headlines for everything but football success. Usually because Jerry Jones puts them there. They don't make the playoffs usually. They go 8-8, or the few times that they've made the playoffs, they have a disappointing first round exit. And then we put them in the Super Bowl conversation again the following year. And then again, they're in the headlines for everything but football success. Jerry Jones all the time, his little press conferences, and then no playoffs usually, or first round disappointing exit, 8-8. Super Bowl conversation again. See where I'm going here? Why do we do it? I understand they're America's team, even though that really should be the Chiefs, or whatever team Tom Brady's on. I understand that we want our big brand teams to be successful. The Cowboys, the Lakers, the Yankees, Alabama, now Clemson in college football, your Dukes, your Carolinas, basketball. That ain't always how it works. There's much better teams and much more of them. Sorry. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but why? And again, I hope Dak does well. I really do. I'm glad he got his money. Because if you're the Cowboys, I don't think Dak is very elite. He's not Lamar. He's not Mahomes. He's not Deshaun Watson. I don't even think really he's Kyler Murray, who's on his way. He's not Josh Allen, but good Lord. But he's definitely above average. And again, I've talked about it multiple times when it comes to signing your quarterbacks. You got to ask yourself, what's the alternative? If we don't sign him and take care of him, even if he's just above average, well, what do we have to work with otherwise? You know what I mean? And you're probably about to see it with Cam Newton and the Patriots. There's nothing out in free agent land that I think really interests them. Their pick in the draft is too low that they get anything worth having in the draft. They're probably going to have to sign Cam again and put a little talent around him. So you have to ask yourself, what's the alternative? I keep thinking there's something on my nose. But it's just Dak went 8-8 the year prior to last year because obviously he got hurt last year, which obviously I think gave him a lot of leverage because they were one of the worst teams in the league last year without him, which does say something. But again, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but They haven't done much of anything, even with Dak at the quarterback. You know, they made the playoffs a couple of times. I believe first round exits in both, or went 8-8 and didn't make the playoffs. It's not to say it was all Dak's fault, but the point is, why do we go from 8-8, you know, first round exit, not making the playoffs, to they finally signed the quarterback they had during all of that to a long-term deal, and they're already in the Super Bowl conversation again? It's Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys. It's Super Bowl or bust for Dak already. Can you make the playoffs and maybe go on a deep run first? Maybe. Every year, it's one of the most predictable narratives and conversations in all of sports. Are the Cowboys in the Super Bowl conversation? Are they the favorites? Is it Super Bowl or bust now for the Cowboys? Not like they're in the same conference with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Not like they're in the same conference as Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Not like they're in the same conference with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Like, ugh. All I'll say is this. Make the playoffs first and do a little better than 8-8 before you're in the Super Bowl conversation. Get an O-line and get a defense, because that is a big reason of why the Cowboys haven't been shit for the last couple of years. Not really so much Dak, I think, as it has been that. Their O-line's gotten old. Their defense was awful last year, one of the worst in the league. And I still don't buy into Mike McCarthy as a coach. Never did with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Never thought it was much of nothing when he signed with the Cowboys last year. And, you know, based on the stories that came out of the locker room and people around it, that was absolutely right. So, Cowboys are Super Bowl favorites, everybody. They're in the conversation. It's Super Bowl or bust now for the usually 8-8, barely makes the playoffs Cowboys. Roger Federer's back. I'm a tennis guy, so naturally I had to throw that out there. I'm excited to see him play. I don't remember playing some dude named Evans actually right now. I don't know what the score is in the match or what tournament it even is, but God, it's just so nice to see him back. Like, I really enjoy. What time is it? Got about 10 minutes. I really enjoy just watching. Like, I'm a big tennis guy. I love to play tennis. I just played last night. I want to start playing in some tournaments this year once they start up again. You know, obviously there weren't really many last year because of COVID, but that is something, you know, I'm a competitive tennis player. It's not just, I like to go hit the ball. Or, like, I play tennis. And I get mesmerized on Instagram or YouTube by just tennis videos. Usually Roger Federer. Like, it's almost like therapeutic to watch him hit. Like, just like it's so smooth. And I mean, even if you're not into tennis, like, if you just like satisfying content, which you see a lot on social these days, just satisfying, you know, slime and just satisfying, you know, noises and things. Tennis has to be in the conversation, because just watching a legit player just rally the ball or just hit back and forth, like, it's such a mesmerizing, therapeutic thing to watch, I think. So, let me wrap up with this. I feel like we really underuse and underestimate the power of the internet. And where I'm going with that is, I was thinking about this the other day, and I've thought about it before, but it just kind of hit me the other day because I was really getting deep into it. I like to watch YouTube videos and listen to podcasts, and that's how I learn, is by listening and then going. Oh, I got some comments here. I think. Let's see here. Okay, got some comments. By the way, as we welcome in our first official viewer, what's happening, my guy? Dr. Monk, 1832. How's it going, man? I don't know what that means, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're in here. You are actually Dr. Monk, 1832. You, my friend, are my first on-air live viewer. First one. Any couple of views I've gotten at this point in these early stages of the show has been after it was already over, late in the day. You are the first person that has actually tuned into the show live on my YouTube, so that's pretty cool. I appreciate you for tuning in and commenting, and you're my first comment too, so this is fun. How are you? I'm doing great, especially now that you're here. By the way, for you and for anybody else who sees this, I love comments. I love this. This is a big reason why I wanted to do. Hell yeah. I appreciate it. I subscribe for being the first. I appreciate that. I really, really do. This is why I really enjoy the live show. Because when you get viewers in here, as I hope to get more of you in here, really build up this community and get to know you guys. I really enjoy interacting with you guys live on air, because it's actually kind of funny how this worked out, because I literally posted something about this on my Instagram yesterday, and it's that people have the audacity to want an audience. They have the audacity to want people to listen to them and follow them and like their stuff and view and subscribe and all that jazz. They have that audacity, but yet they don't respond to the comments. They don't they want the big number of subscribers and followers and views and likes, but they don't take the time to get to know the people behind the freaking views and followers, and they don't take the time to do that. And the whole thing is that is actually how you build a legitimate audience who gives a crap, is by giving a crap about them. And so I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you specifically, Dr. Monk, 1832, for getting in here. I appreciate it. That's really cool. And again, this is my favorite part of the live show, is getting you guys in here on the comments. Because I always like to I do this for my other show that I do called ACC Tailgate. Because we have a few commenters on that one too, and I really like to put you guys up here live on air and engage with you guys live on air. I love doing that. I would spend the entire hour of this show doing that if that's how many comments I was getting. So, what is the topic today? So, it's been all over the place. That is one thing about my show, is that we literally go to Star Wars. So we started out the show talking about FX lightsabers, because I got a good deal on my. I found a master replica 05 Anakin Skywalker lightsaber the other day. So that's actually what we started out on the show with. And then we talked a little bit about Nets, Lakers, and how I think it's going to be now that the Nets. I don't know how into sports you are, or Star Wars for that matter. You asked what was on the show, so I think Nets Lakers is going to be one of the best finals matchups we've seen since Cavs Warriors back in 2016, and then we started talking about the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, and how here we go again, putting them in the Super Bowl conversation again. And yeah, now here you are. So got into that a little bit. So, let's see, we've got a Star Wars question. If I can get it. It'll probably. I saw it pop on my computer sooner than I did What do I think about the canceling of the Star Wars actor? Or actress, Gina. I forget her last name. So she played Cara Dune, if you guys don't know. And I haven't, I'll be honest with you, I haven't gotten too deep into what happened, what she said, all of that. Um, I know she was canceled because that's, we cancel culture, basically where you're just kind of, I guess, cast aside or labeled by society. What do I think about it? I mean, I again, like, I don't know specific. Like, I saw something where I guess she posted on. I guess she is a conservative, from what I hear, and that she basically compared people in the Holocaust. I don't know if she was talking about the victims or what. Like, she compared people in the Holocaust to conservatives in some way, shape, or form. I think on her Instagram. I don't know specifically what she said, and basically, from what I hear, she said or did things like that more than once, I guess. I don't know, on set or just while she was playing the role of Gina, while Gina was playing the role of Cara Dune on The Mandalorian. Um, and I guess it had been a problem. Let's see here. Let's see. He says, I'm German and talk to too many old people. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting situation. I always kind of liked her character on The Mandalorian, so I kind of hated to see that happen the way it did. But again, like, it's not something I've spent like a ton of time like looking into the details of what happened. I don't know, like I don't know. So it's definitely interesting. Now I will say, from a character standpoint and the show itself, I will be interested to see how they maybe recast or kill off her character. I don't know how they're going to handle that. I got a feeling they might recast her character or just, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle that, honestly. So, I don't know. Like, it's not something I've spent a ton of time on. So I wish I could give you more than that, but that's one thing with that's one thing with this show is, like, I'm never gonna bullshit you guys. Like, I'm never gonna sit here because, like, one of the quickest way to look like an ass is to just talk about stuff you don't know. And it just is like, if there's something I don't spend a ton of time on or don't really know that well, I'm just gonna be honest and tell you I don't. And I'll give you what I can, but other than that, like, it's not something I spend a ton of time on. So, let's see here. I assume you're a Star Wars fan. Since you asked me that question, maybe not. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I assume so. If you are a Star Wars fan, I will say I'm really, really excited about all the new shows that are coming. Like, I'm so hyped for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Like, you have no idea. God, I can't wait. Like, when I heard that Hayden Christensen was going to be playing Anakin / Vader, I guess more so Vader in this, unless we see flashbacks, I was so hyped about that. I was so hyped to see that he was going to be in that show again, and we were going to see him, under the suit. Because that's one thing that I talked a little bit about it when the news came out. Like, obviously, we've seen a lot of Vader, like, on the outside, but one thing that I feel like we haven't seen a ton of, at least in Star Wars shows or movies or content in general, is Star Wars or is Darth Vader kind of behind the scenes and, like, what he was going through behind closed doors, kind of after he's already in the suit, he's lost Padme, everything has already happened in Revenge of the Sith. Like, I always kind of wanted to see that side of him. Basically, I wanted to see Vader under the suit, you know, aka Hayden Christensen's portrayal of Vader, and just see kind of what he was dealing with behind closed doors and just what was happening there. Like that was a perspective I always wanted to see. So I'm excited that we're going to get to see that. I do hope we get some flashback scenes where we get to see Hayden not just as Vader in the suit, but maybe even as maybe Anakin, like the Clone Wars Anakin's, kind of see him in a flashback role or something like that. I think that would be really cool. I'm curious to see if maybe Maul is integrated into the show in some way. So, you know, you brought up, you know, just the shows in general. So that is something I'm particularly really excited about. But so yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's show. Big thank you to Dr. Monk 1832. I really appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you subscribing, and I appreciate you getting in the comments with me. You're the first one that's gotten in on the comments live, so that's fun for me, and I hope it was fun for you as well. And I hope you'll tune into the next one. I'm planning to do this show, pretty much every weekday around noon-ish, 1 o'clock-ish, just depending on what's going on. So tune in again if you enjoyed it. I hope you did. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's it for today's show. Again, my name's Will Dalton, a.k.a. wilberandgold. You can hit me up on any social media. I'd love to get to know you guys and continue to build this community. So until next time, we'll see you next time.